Hi everybody, it's Chris from the Evermore podcast with a fresh match reaction to Crystal Palace getting hammered by Newcastle. Hammered's a strong word. Beating Crystal Palace 1-0 at St James's Park. As it says in the thumbnail, let's talk about six, baby. It's the first time we've won 6 home games on the spin in 18 fucking years since the day of the late, great Sir Bobby Robson. It just goes to show you how long we've been completely bereft and devoid of a good manager, and probably a really good manager like Eddie Howe, who just worked miracles with this team. It's absolutely unbelievable. You know, we beat Crystal Palace tonight. They've had a great season. You know, they've been playing really well. You know, the lads have been absolutely superb yet again. Let's get stuck right into it. The starting lineup was no surprise for anybody, really. It was unchanged from the Leicester win. So you can see there, same side, you know, Emil Kraft kept his place. Obviously, Miggy started again in place of the injured Fraser. And to be fair, both of them were absolutely fantastic again. I thought Emil Kraft, again, we talked about him earlier on and Evermore. I've been one of his biggest critics, but he was absolutely superb today. He nullified the moody Wilfred Zaha, who's just the biggest fucking moaner I've ever seen in the world of football. He really is. I used to really like Zaha, and when we got taken over, he was one of them players I really wanted to sign. But the more and more I watch him, the more he's just such a moany-faced bastard. He looks like someone's ate his last Rolo every time you see him. He just drives me mad, so I don't want to sign him at all. So we're on YouTube tonight again. Please jump in the comments, guys, like Steve-O has. Miggy, absolutely, mate. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Again, I criticise Miggy as well. Shows what I know. Fuck all, Steve. But yeah, moving on to the game. We started strong in the first half. We wanted it more. War flags again with an unbelievable display. A fantastic tribute to St Maximin and the Gallagher as well, which that must have just made him, you know, absolutely boom with pride, to be fair. And he looked up for in the first half. He was getting stuck in, you know, he was wanting the ball, he was dancing, he was doing little daft tricks and everything else. Bruno was looking great again. You know, it was just a matter of really, you know, not if, when really for us. Then the half an hour mark comes. I mean, just before that, we had a couple of chances, you know, it was coming. Chris Wood should have really done better, went kind of through on goal, spooned it wide a little bit. But on the half hour mark, just a beautiful take on the chest and a weighted pass over the top by Bruno. It was like a fucking potting wedge in golf or something, straight into the path of Miggy, you know, and then Miggy obviously runs through on goal, you know, just as trolls are saying in the comments there as well. Bruno, Miggy, of course. You know, the ball goes over the top. And most of the time when Miggy gets in those positions, you know, he spanners it wide or he dribbles like a, you know, a really shit shot at the goalkeeper and he saves it easily. Not this time. Bends it into the stanchion. Unbelievable finish by Miggy Almiron. I couldn't believe it. You know, me and Dyer were on a show earlier on, and I was saying that Elliot Anderson should come back and take his place, probably. But I mean, fair play to Miggy. That was a hell of a finish. And he worked really hard tonight. He played really well. You know, so we kept pushing in the first half. And I think we did really, really well. You know, probably lucky not to maybe get a second goal as well. Palace looked ropey. You know, Vieira was ruthless. He made a few changes as well. I think in the second half, to be fair, you know, a couple of their changes that you know, that came on. I think it was Mateta was the main change for them. You know, and he came on the last 20 minutes, got a little bit dicey for us, I think, because he looked really, really good, strong. You know, wanting the ball, making good runs, putting pressure on, but he couldn't crack that defense. And I mean, just to talk about that defense, fucking hell, Matt Target again. Just what a player this guy is. I can't believe Aston Villa let us have him on loan. Sorry, Mark, I know you're in the comments there as well. I might as well pull your comment up there as well, mate. So the transformation in the players like Joe, Miggy, Kraft is unbelievable. What a job Eddie Howe was doing. 100%. Mark couldn't agree any more than that. You know, he's got to be candidate for manager of the season. I know we're going to talk about that and Evermore, but, you know, the guy in the opposite dugout there, Vieira, everyone was waxing early about the job Vieira's done and how he should be manager of the season. You know, Eddie Howe's took us from rock bottom, 20th, completely hopeless. We were sinking quicker than the fucking Titanic. DiCaprio was hanging on the edge of the bloody club. We were going down that fast. And, you know, and he's got us to joint 11th now. It's unbelievable. You know, who's to say we can't get another couple of wins and push even further up and crack that top 10, which is just amazing. Trolls is buzzing. There's just loads of emojis there. Absolutely superb. Jeff in the comments, man of the match. Oh, sorry, match of the day on tonight too. Sorry, mate. I thought I said man of the match. But yeah, match of the day. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, we'd, you know, we should be the number one game on that, mate, to be fair, because the atmosphere was incredible. But I suppose man of the matches has just slipped out of my mouth there, mate. You know, we did grind the win out in the end. I think man of the match, I've got to give it to one of the defenders. To be fair, I thought it's toss-up, really. I can't split them. I'm going to say Target and Cher. I think they were both absolutely superb. Fabian Cher was incredible tonight. Strong. You know, he took the ball out of defence. You know, he moved it up the park. You know, he was just exuding everything that we wanted him to be as a leader. I know that they keep talking about this new deal for Schär. He's made some good noises. I want to see Fabian Schär as a Newcastle player next season, 100%. He's done enough for me. Yes, if we go out and we sign a Botman or a Carlos or something like that, of course they're going to be a big name defender coming in. But that partnership between Schär and Burn is incredible, and the relationship between Burn and Target. There was one quite funny moment in the second half. I think Target jumped in front of Burn and headed the ball back to Bravka, and Burn was kind of having a chuckle and laugh at him. You can see the camaraderie there. You can see how well they've developed that partnership there. You throw Trippier back into the mix. No offense to Emil Kraft, I thought he was brilliant, but a fit Trippier walks back into that team and he just adds even more class on the other side as well. So Jeff saying Target was man of the match on radio in Newcastle. Absolutely, Jeff, that's a great shout. I can't split Schär and Target myself personally. I thought the pair of them were absolutely phenomenal. Bruno again showed some real touches of class with some beautiful bits of skill where he was just taking the piss out of players. He was bringing it down. He's flicking over the head. I think Conor Gallagher lost the blob and booted him on his arse and got a yellow card. And I think Shuck lost his rag a couple of times as well and tried to put him down. But, he just seems to be able to do everything, Bruno. He can go back and he can win it. He can start play. He can take it for a wander. He can absorb pressure. He can win free kicks. Just absolutely superb, and the conference the lads are playing with is just, it's incredible to see, and like I said there before, we were rock bottom down. Everyone had us relegated. All the fan base had us relegated, but he was just absolutely, this turnaround from Eddie Howe is literally manager of the season stuff for me. And I'm not being hyperbolic there at all. Mark's back in the comments. Target was brilliant. Can we have him back, please? No, you fucking well can't. You signed Luca Dean, so stick with him and we're going to have Target. If we can get that deal wrapped up for 15 million, my God, that'll be absolutely, what a steal that would be. Steve Colby's in the comments. Even Steve, get in. We look really comfortable, which was great to see. Bruno's fucking magic. He is magic, mate. He's just, what a player. We wax lyrically about him, obviously in the last couple of episodes of Evermore, but he just seems to have all the time in the world on the ball. He's never scared to come looking for it. He doesn't shy away from games. God, do you remember years when we had players like a Jack Cole back? Yes, I know he scored a screamer the other day, but he would go disappearing. They'd be scared to be on the ball. Not this guy at all. He wants the ball. He wants to affect the game. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think Shelby did well as well alongside him today. Tired a bit. I would like to have seen Willock on a little bit earlier, but I think Shelby did well today. Trolls are saying, I noticed we're never on Talk Sports when we're good. Great. Don't want them talking about us anyway. Yeah, Talk Sport, very southern based anyway, Trolls, to be fair. I don't think they'll talk about us until we potentially transform like Manchester City did, and we're in that top four as a constant, and we're in everybody's kind of radar, for how well we're doing. But Sky seem to be warming a bit to us. They're engaging a lot more with fan bases, which is fantastic, and fan-led media. Jeff's back in the comments. Bruno's stats looking amazing again. He's just amazing. He really is, Jeff. Like I say, I don't think I've seen a midfielder as good as this guy. I know people talk about Cabaye. Cabaye was a fantastic player, and I think for different generations of fans, Cabaye is your top midfield man. But when I was back watching Newcastle, I'm 40 now. Some of the lads in the comments I know quite well, a similar age to me. We had players like Rob Lee and Gary Speed as well. God bless him. God rest his soul. Fantastic footballers, and they would do the same. They would come looking for the ball. They'd want to influence the game. Bruno reminds me a lot of Gary Speed in terms of, especially the way he's charging at the box, trying to influence the game, get on the end of things, as well as his win tackles and start play. So, we're very, very lucky to have a player like this. But looking forward, obviously, we've got next as well, and that's going to be another winnable game as well, to be fair, and then we've got Liverpool coming to St James's Park, and we've got to play Manchester City. We're a really informed team at the moment, and Eddie Howe doesn't strike me as the kind of manager who's going to let the lads put the flip-flops on. I think he wants to have as many points as humanly possible. We've already broken, our points total for the last God knows how many seasons. As I said at the start of the show there, 6 wins on the spin, first time in 18 years since 2004, which is just unbelievable when you say that out loud. It just shows you just how much we were rotten under that regime, that previous regime that, thank God, is gone and will never come back to Newcastle United ever again. And if any other football club is lucky, they'll never darken their corridors either. Our new owners, they're on the pitch kicking the ball around with each other at the end of the game, celebrating, drinking in the atmosphere. It's just phenomenal. It really is. I was lucky to be at the game at the weekend, and the last game I went to, as I said earlier on, was Bruce's last game, and the atmosphere and everything's just completely and utterly different. It's worlds apart. It's worlds apart. Trolls are saying Bruno's the best midfielder I've ever seen in the club, and I've supported him for almost 30 years. Fair play, Trolls. I mean, I think he could be that player 100%. There's no doubt about that, mate, 100%. So we've got Steve-O there. He said Bruno's passion and interaction with the crowd. You can tell he loves it. That's a fair shout, Steve-O. So I think when he won a free kick, didn't he? And he was whipping the crowd up and he was getting everybody up and firing that, because he is a bit of a lovable nutter as well, which I love in a player, to be fair. Colby saying now we're safe. I'd love to give Liverpool a good game at St James's. Well, the pressure's off, Steve, to be fair. We could really stick it to Liverpool. We could really fuck their title charge up, and as I've said before on previous pitch battles with me and Mark, Jurgen Klopp has become Jurgen Stropp for me, so I'd quite like to piss him off and screw his title charge up. It would just be quite a wonderfully beautiful shithouse thing for us to do, which would be absolutely superb. Won 9 games, 2022, won 8 and all of 2021. Well said, Jeff. The friends of Steve Bruce have gone massively quiet now, haven't they? They've disappeared. I don't even hear them talking about him at West Brom anymore, because they've realised how shit he really is. We've got Alan in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, Alan. Here in Salt Lake City, first half, great passing. Second, good defending. 100%, Alan. It's a great shout. We were superb. I think the defending was just like die-hard defending, gladiator defending. Great game. We just need to finish. I think Callum Wilson coming back gives us that, Alan. No offense to Chris Wood. He worked hard tonight, to be fair. He got on the end of things in terms of holding it up. He was winning a few headers. He was winning free kicks, but I think Callum Wilson gives you that cutting edge back. And Trolls, insane stats, Jeff. Absolutely, mate. I mean, my stat man isn't here tonight. He's still nursing a cold, bless him. But his stat computer would be blown up, I think, in terms of Bruno's stats and everything else that he can bring to the game. It's just incredible to be a Newcastle fan in the minute. The positivity, the upward trajectory and the momentum that we're heading up with. We could finish the season in the top 10, which bloody hell, imagine the odds you would have had on that at the start of the season, and then hopefully with a good summer ahead of us, who knows, what awaits us. Just before I jump into some more comments, guys, if you join us for the first time, if you're across in America, or wherever you are in the world, thanks for coming and joining us. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow it as much as we can. We're currently on about 187 subscribers. I'd love to get over that 200 mark. So if you guys can help us do that, I'd really, really appreciate that. So I've got some more comments there just before I sign off. What we've got here, West Brom fans saying that the form since Bruce came, it would have put them 19th. Oh, fucking hell. Well, me and Mark call it breaking bacon, Jeff, on the pitch patter. He's just a complete fraud of a manager. And I think the job that Eddie Howe has done, and Mark said earlier on in the comments there as well, the job that he's done, not just getting the points tally and getting us higher up the league, obviously where we were when he found us, because we were just dead and buried, really. We were the walking dead. Rick Grimes was walking past us with a gun in his hand. We were that bloody dead. To get us up to where we are now is one thing, but to get what he's got out of these players, he's turned Joe Linton from an absolute dud of a striker to a powerhouse box-to-box midfielder. It looks like he's turned Emil Kraft into the Swedish Cafu, and then potentially, Christ, could he do the same thing with Miggy Almiron? If you can put a brain in Miggy Almiron's head, he could be an unbelievable player there. So, time will tell what he does there as well. And we were 20th at some point in the season. But I think we were 20th in Bruce's last game. I'm sure we were rock bottom. If we weren't that, we were 19th. But it just goes to show you that the job that Eddie Howe has done, I think every single plaudit that comes his way, he truly, truly deserves. Not just him, Tyndall and the rest of the coaching staff as well. The interview with John Joe Shelby was absolutely amazing when he was saying that he asked him for a piece of paper and he told him to write down, the wives' names, the kids' names, their birthdays and things like that, because he wanted to know them as footballers and players and human beings, and just to create that camaraderie. And he's done that. It's just absolutely spectacular. It really, really is. Mark's back in the comments there. What we're saying, Mark said at the weekend on here, how is my manager of the year? No one's done a better job this season. That's coming from an Aston Villa fan as well. Well said, Mark. I think from a football point of view, take all your whatever feelings you have towards our club and the newfound wealth and the salt that's rubbed into the wounds and everything else. Just look at the job the guy's done as a football manager, from being an absolute steaming pile of shit to just this unbelievable positive project, progressive adventure that we're on now. It's unbelievable, 100%. And Trolls is right. The players deserve massive credit too. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And I know you agree with Mark as well, Trolls. I think the players, it just goes to show you that the players always had that in them, didn't they? They just needed somebody to reignite, that desire in them to better themselves, to put pride in the performances, to work as hard as they could. I think the problem that we had under Bruce was that it didn't matter how well you played or how bad you played, it would just be the same side every other week. Whereas now you look at the midfield, Shelvey knows he has to play well, because if he comes off his game, he's on the bench, because Willock's chomping the bit to come on. Joe Linton there, he has to put the performance in to keep his place. Bruno's the star man at the minute, but if Bruno went off form, I'm sure Eddie Howe would hook him out the side as well. These guys know they've got to be at the top of their game to stay in this side. And, just I suppose one thing to close it off on, guys, is you look at that atmosphere, whether you're from this area or not, whether you support this club or not. I know most of you guys in the comments will, because we're a Newcastle podcast. But if you're a footballer and you're looking at that on the TV on the other side of the world, if you're even a Dybala, for example, who's a free agent at the minute, and you just flick on the channels and see that atmosphere, those flags waving, that noise, you see the camaraderie, you see the murals of St. Maximin in the crowd on a flag. As someone like a Dybala, you're thinking, I fancy a bit of that. I think Jamie Redknapp said exactly the same thing on Sky Sports at the weekend. And sometimes he can talk a lot of shit, but coming from ex-players, they want that. They want that adulation. They want that kind of love from the crowd. You go to places like City, people call it the empty hat. You don't get that kind of loyalty from the fans. I know obviously ticket prices and cost of living and everything, you've got to bear that in mind, but they've always had a bit of a bad reputation for that as City. Manchester United can be, well, they're a bit of a car wreck at the moment, no pun intended to Bruno Fernandes there. But if you're a top player and you're looking for a new club in the summer, why not get a bit of that atmosphere in? Absolutely. Jesus, I wouldn't blame any players to be interested in that, and if the money's there as well with salaries and everything else, why not check it out? It'll take bravery from players as well, but you know what? Why not? There'll be some brave players out there like Bruno Guimaraes who think, fuck it, I'll have a go at this project. Steve was saying the commentators pre-match mentioned it a good few times. No atmosphere compares at the moment. 100%, Steve. If you're a professional footballer, I've never been lucky to be one. I don't know if any of the guys in the comments have. I'm sure you haven't, and you've always wanted to be one. Could you imagine stepping out into that? It would just be electric. Even the opposing players must be thinking, Jesus Christ, look at this. Not like it's not our ground. I've never played in a ground like this. I think Shelvey actually said that as well in his interview, that he's never played in an atmosphere like that. And it's just incredible. It really isn't. It's so wonderful for Newcastle fans of all ages. Some of us have been through the good times. Some of us have been through the bad times. Some of us have only ever known Mike Ashley, like our very own blue tick man at the stadium, down Wales. He's only ever known Mike Ashley. So for him to see this, bloody hell. Steve Corby, I've seen you play football. You have, mate. There's no way I would ever made it as a footballer, mate, as you rightly know, mate. I'll try and do it on the podcast, mate. Maybe I'll do a little bit better with that, hopefully. I'm sure I'll be slightly better at this than I was at that, mate. But yeah, I mean, what an atmosphere. It's just, it's almost indescribable, isn't it? I mean, season ticket holders and everything else, in away fans coming and seeing that as well would just be thinking, bloody hell, that's absolutely incredible. Support for 55 years, seen a lot. Jeff, absolutely, mate. You've seen it all, mate. God, you've seen the McKeegs and everything else, mate. Jesus Christ. But no, honestly, this is an amazing time of being a Newcastle fan. I'm sure we will have, as we grow as a club, there will be a bit of a prawn sandwich brigade that appears, and and a lot of the I suppose a lot of the so-called new fans, Chelsea have had them, City have had them. That'll come, but I think being a Newcastle United fan base as we are, I don't think they'll be the majority. I think they'll always be the minority, because the fan base in this city, in this region, is just, it's so loyal and historical, and it's kind of hereditary as well. I was on the bus going to the game the other day, and I saw 3 generations of family get on the bus, and it's beautiful to see how it's almost like a torch or a curse passed down through generations, depending on who you're talking to, mate. No, you really don't want to see me try maxi skills from a day, Steve. I'd probably snap me ankles, but none more than my good mate Mark would be, who had more injuries than the RVI when we were kids playing football. Steve Corby can probably back that one up as well in the comments. But yeah, fantastic night. Like I say, 6 on the spin. God, I haven't been able to talk about that for 18 years. The future is bright. Get some more players in the summer as well. Continue to upgrade on the squad. It's exciting. We probably don't even want the season to end. We wouldn't have said that a few months ago. We were dying for it to end and try and finish in the 17th and just stay in there for another season. But now you're wondering how far we can go. Norwich away, that's a winnable game for us. Norwich look dead and buried. You know, we can have a say on the title charge as well. So yeah, there's exciting games still to come for this football club, and then the pre-season we'll all be looking at the rumours, and we'll all be trying to check things out. We'll be going through them all and ever more as always, guys. So make sure, again, like I say, that you please like and subscribe, and you make sure you check out the channel, because we'll be talking plenty of toon transfer talk, especially now we're safe. I mean, 100%, 1,000,000% we're safe. We were safe after we beat Leicester. Now we're on 40 points. There's no way we're going down now. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Big thumbs up to you too, Kobe. Thanks, buddy. And thanks a lot, Jeff, for tuning in. And I hope they keep Miggy. Absolutely. Well, we'll see how Miggy goes on, mate. He's one of those polarizing players. We have quite a few of those. But I think now that they're obviously, you know, turning up and they're actually playing the way they're playing under this manager, let's see how long he can get these tunes out of them. You know, it might be a grand master plan for how to big them up to get as much out of them as he possibly can, you know, and then upgrade on them and, you know, sell them and get a decent amount of money from them, because they've been playing quite well and in good form. But at the minute, you know, they're in the team on merit, they're playing well, so you got to back them, mate. Absolutely. And cheers to you, Jeff, as well. Thanks for tuning in, mate. That's me going to wrap up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy to have you on board, and you know, please check out Evermore every week on Wednesday. We try and do as many match reviews as we possibly can. Yeah, you too, Kobe. Have a good one, buddy. Roll on Saturday. Yeah, we try and do as many match reviews as we possibly can. Obviously, me and Mark do the pitch patter on the Monday night at 10 o'clock. And if you're Manchester United fans and you're interested, please check out the Armchair Reds. Chris does a great job there. He's flying solo at the minute. He's doing an absolutely amazing job there. So yeah, just make sure you check us all out. We've got loads of content coming. And thank you very much for tuning in, guys. And fucking away the lads. Come on.